Tucker Carlson destroys a student on live TV for his remarks towards Trump. Let's find out how it went together.
So you wrote on Facebook that you wanted to shut this thing down, and you suggested projectile vomiting during the event, which I assume was a joke. But the idea was that this guy, Sean Spicer, should not be allowed to speak. And I read a lot of what you wrote about it, and one of your explanations was, well, he represents a press operation that is hostile to freedom of speech and to the freedom of the press. Therefore, he shouldn't be allowed to talk. There seems an irony in that. He's against freedom of speech, so you don't let him talk? How does that work?
Sure. So what I was saying was not that he shouldn't be allowed to talk. Rather, what I was saying was that I, as a student, and yes, it was a joke when I said that I was going to projectile vomit on him, although I'm glad that I made it, because now I get to explain what I meant to you. So what I meant was that I, as a student, and my peers should be allowed to respond to his presence on my campus in ways that aren't just civil or decorous and don't involve just sort of standing up after the event and asking him a question. Although I never said he should be disinvited, and I never said he shouldn't be allowed to talk.
What's the point? I'll tell you quickly. The press secretary and Trump supporter is supposed to come to a university to speak about politics and education. The students are certainly not happy to see him and have tried to disrupt the speech. This student started a wave of outrage and all sorts of attempts to ruin the event, and now he's making excuses and he's scared.
But in ways that involve force, I mean, it sounds like. I mean, so when you say we should be allowed to respond, how about the traditional path, which is to make a counter case? You disagree with what he stands for, which is, of course, fine. And you say, this is what I stand for, and may the best man win. You don't believe in that, it seems like.
Sure. So Sean Spicer was hired and is paid to have certain opinions and to support certain policies about the press. He has power, a national platform. He's in the news every day, and he has access to policy-making power. If I stand up and ask him a question and say, Sean, have you ever considered that you might be a fascist? He can give me a smarmy answer. It lasts 20 seconds, and I don't get a follow-up, and then what do? I'm saying I would like to raise visibility and voice my frustrations with this person in ways that aren't sort of going to die after 20 seconds, and he gives me, you know, sort of a non-answer.
So here's the thing. He just wanted to show off and show how cool he was about politics and people. After all, he is the one who can change everything in the country and make everyone happy, and we've been wondering what he's doing all this for.
He's a spin doctor. I mean, you know.
But that's a stupid question, though. Why are you a fascist? I mean, I'm not even sure we could agree on what that means. How about specific? That's like, you believe this, you're in favor of this policy. Here's why I think it's wrong or hurts America. Make your case. And in all the social media of yours that I've read today, I haven't seen you doing that. Instead, and you're clearly smart, I've seen you calling names, which seems to be kind of the way people respond now. Would it be better to make a case?
Sure. So, I mean, I think that no matter what kind of case I make and no matter how good of a point I make to him, he has no reason to listen to me and no incentive to listen to me. I mean, this isn't about who's right. It's about who has power. And so I think that students in this country need to mobilize in ways that would actually get people that we like in office instead of sort of discussing in sanitized environments and, you know, in moderated conversations. Does that make sense?
Everyone has the power to make the country a better place to live. For example, to be competent in political affairs, and to express their thoughts correctly in public. The point is that you don't need to seem cool. You need to be, and it can be confirmed by your actions, not empty insults.
It sort of does, and just to help you elucidate it more, I want to put on the screen something that you wrote in your school newspaper recently, the independent school newspaper. You said this: now we're faced with a real crisis, this being the election of Trump. We must take real action and dispense with all this sophistry, all these abstract notions of civility, which are just Ivy League translations of the vulgar "give Trump a chance." By real action, I mean donating money to the ACLU, to Standing Rock, to Planned Parenthood, calling your representative incessantly, protesting obsessively, flipping cars when Trump walks away from the Paris Climate Agreement, attacking racists you see attacking people in the supermarket, whatever it takes. So I've got a bunch of questions about this, but the first is, whose cars would you flip?
I don't know yet. I mean, it depends on whether or not he walks away from the Paris Climate Accords. I mean, I think that if you dwell on the sort of more exaggerated or hyperbolic parts of this article, which is, after all, just an article, you're not going to get a chance to actually ask me what I think political action constitutes. I mean, all that this is meant to express, Tucker, is that
wait a second. You were just explaining what it...
So here's the point. He's just plain hostile to Trump, and that's it. He's saying that everyone should go against Trump and what he's doing. You know, flipping cars is bad and wrong of him, and the fact that he can't even prove what he's saying is the words of a stupid person who does first things first and thinks later. What do you think about that? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to watch other shocking news on the channel.